If you've got one of those lawns that's got bumpy bits, steep slopes, narrow and hard to manoeuvre corners, or even a gravel path or drive that you've got to navigate, or you don't want your lawn tearing up by a mower when the conditions are really bad, these are the sorts of problems that this robot mower has specifically been designed to deal with. And today we're going to put it to the test in a few real gardens and in some of the worst possible mowing conditions, as it's been raining for almost 2 months. This is the Segway Navimow i208 all-wheel drive, and now let's take a look at this beast right out of the box. Now the first thing you'll notice, other than how clean it is at the moment, which is not going to stay that way for very long, are these big beautiful wheels with this third wheel at the back, which will help nice easy zero turns without ripping up your lawn, and will also automatically engage on some of the most challenging terrain as well as those slopes up to 45 degrees. And underneath this machine you'll notice 5 swing cutting blades which help when you do hit some rocks or tree roots. These will swing back and prevent damage to the mower, unlike a standard petrol mower where you bend the crankshaft and write your machine off. And one of the coolest features for me is the VisionFence, and this is basically an AI camera on the front of the machine, and this is trained to detect things like lawn edges, borders and paths, walls, fences, hedges, trees, furniture, even pets. But now let's dive into getting this set up. We're going to start off by downloading the app, which couldn't be more straightforward, and then we're going to register this machine. And once you've registered, you're going to have full access to the app and all of its features, and then you'll be able to get cracking with the mowing. To start with, I'm going to create a manual map for this garden, and this is where I'm going to control the machine using my phone to create an outline of this lawn. You'll get plenty of on-screen instructions showing you exactly what to do in this process. However, I'm the sort of person that normally skips most of these things, so I'm just going to jump in and get mapping. Although later on in the video you're going to see that the auto mapping and drop and mow features with this machine were far better than my manual attempt at mapping this lawn. Which tells me one thing: I probably shouldn't have skipped the practice session. Although I'm not that worried about it because there's always the option to delete the map and start again. In fact, I probably will create 2 different maps for this garden, as there's an area that you'll see shortly where I've got a lot of spring bulbs coming up, and I would prefer the mower not to cut them. Now the mapping's almost complete, so I'm going to click done. I'm then going to save this map. And after I've done that, I'm going to send this little workhorse out to cut my lawn. So, although I joke a little bit about the bad weather, it really is quite bad. It has rained so much over the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks. The garden is absolutely sodden. And if I'd have done this with my normal petrol mower, I probably would have trashed most of the lawn. That's how wet it is. So it's a testament to this mower that it did a fantastic job cutting wet grass that was still a little bit too long, and this is what it looked like afterwards. So all in all, it did a fantastic job. The worst part of this lawn is actually the bit where everybody stands on the grass to get to the garage instead of using the patio slabs. But anyway, once this mower's finished, it'll return to its charging station and flick itself back onto charge. Now I am planning on installing this in a permanent location in the garden, so it will come out on demand. I'll probably get the lawn cut every 3 to 4 days in summer, but now we're going to move on to a more difficult garden and test out a few more of these features. Starting with the drop and mow and auto mapping features. But before I do that, I'm going to cover a little bit of information that most people normally miss out. When robot mowers first hit the market, most of them had a boundary wire that had to be buried all the way around your garden, and this is how the mower would detect where it was at all times, and it wouldn't mow beyond the boundary wire. And you could imagine on a garden like this what an absolute nightmare that would be to install a boundary wire. And then after those robot mowers, newer versions came out which had a RTK antenna, and that stands for real-time kinematic positioning, and that's where the antenna would communicate with your robot mower and satellites, once again telling your mower where it is in your garden at any time. Which is great, but if you happen to have a garden with lots of buildings around it or lots of trees which would interfere with the signal, which creates lots of dead zones in your garden where your mower doesn't know where it is. Which brings us on nicely to this mower, which has something called NRTK, which is Network Real-Time Kinematic Positioning. And without getting any more technical than I already have, it basically is going to use your 5G network on your phone or your Wi-Fi from your house to replace the antenna. And this mower uses a combination of NRTK and Vision, which is the AI camera on the front of the machine, so it eliminates those black spots and you can use it in any garden, anywhere, without signal dropouts. And with the added bonus of Navimow still send out an RTK antenna with this machine, so you're doubly insured. So while I've been talking, this mower has auto-mapped this garden and it's done a really good job. A lot better than I could do on the manual mapping mode. There were a few little hiccups like navigating around the bird feeder and a few of the walls, but instead of getting stuck and entering some sort of doom loop of error cycles, it managed to figure its way out by using its AI camera and calculating a route around the obstacles. It also did a fantastic job of avoiding these gravel beds and picking up the edge of the grass and the gravel and then creating the map around that zone. And during the auto mapping process, the NRTK and Vision also detected this pile of leaves on the lawn, treating them as an obstacle and went round them, which is really smart. And now, despite the fact that it's been a really good auto mapping session and this map looks great, I'm not actually going to cut this lawn today because any minute now it's about to pour it down with rain. Now, although this mower could handle a little bit of the rain, I've been gardening for so long, I would still rather not do lawn mowing while it's raining. So there are 3 new versions of this i2 that I'm using today, which is actually the upgraded i1 version, which was an Amazon bestseller. It's made up of the i205, which will mow up to 500 square meters, the i206, which will mow 600 square meters, and the one that I'm using today, the i208, which will mow up to 800 square meters. Now, after giving this mower a really good test out on quite a few different lawns, here are my favourite bits. It deals with really deep gravel driveways and paths like an absolute champion. Due to the wheels on this thing, the zero turn is absolutely fantastic and doesn't leave muddy shaped donuts in your lawn. Even when using the auto mapping, this gets really tight up to the borders no matter what. And the Navimow app is really comprehensive, allowing you to customise pretty much every aspect of your lawn mowing. You can create lawn mowing schedules, you can tell it to mow at night, it'll even create mowing reports, and you can turn the VisionFence on and off, whether this is going to be for animal friendly or obstacle avoidance. And there's so many more customizations you can make. I've not even had a chance to check out half of them yet. And last but by no means least, you can barely hear this thing when it's mowing your garden. This is the Navimow i208 AWD from Segway. If you want to find out more about this lawnmower, then please check out the links in the description. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope it's been informative. And if you've got any questions about this lawnmower, please drop me a comment in the comment section and I will get back to you.